Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. As always, likes, comments, and subscriptions are always very much appreciated. Very big thank you to everyone out there who is a liker, a commenter, and or a clicker of affiliate links. Welcome back to another News I missed, where I go over news I missed. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Pretty interesting news day, you'll see in a little bit. The Bored Ape Yacht Club has announced its second collaboration with the Rolling Stones. Is it Rolling Stone? No S? Okay. During the Ape Fest 2022, there will be limited edition Rolling Stone collectibles, and they will include two one-of-one Bored Ape Yacht Club and MA Yacht Club. I don't know what. The other one. Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFTs, along with physical art prints. The first Bored Ape Yacht Club x Rolling Stone NFTs and art prints garnered much attention from the NFT community. Both platforms hope to get the same level of attention for another successful auction and sales. Bored Ape Yacht Club and Rolling Stone announced their second collaboration for limited edition NFTs on the first day of Ape Fest 2022. The two Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and two one-of-one Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFTs will go up for auction. They went up for auction on the 22nd of June. They said, "Good morning, apes. We're stoked for the first night of Ape Fest to kick things off. We're excited to announce that we've teamed up with Rolling Stone again for two one-of-one NFTs." Wow, English. Did anyone actually manage to go to this? I don't think it even says where it is. I don't know. I think I would have liked, but I know English. I'll put it to you this way. I know that I have no chance of getting one of the one-of-ones. So I kind of want one of the art prints, and I wonder, how that went. Moreover, the NFT auction will be accompanied by a 4-hour sale for collectible art prints of each design. The art prints can be purchased for ApeCoin, worth around $100. The links will be shared on Twitter as the sale began. However, the details about the Bored Ape Yacht Club and Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFTs and art prints are not yet revealed by Yuga Labs or Rolling Stone magazine. So I assume they're going to have tons of collaborations that are going to be coming out over the next years, perhaps forever. This is, I think, the most popular cryptocurrency NFT project that we have now, or basically have ever seen. I told you all before, they have a whole bunch of other things that are going to be rolled out, but they also just acquired the CryptoPunks and something else. So I feel like there's a lot of venture capital money flowing behind the scenes for all of this, and I do wonder exactly how big that they're going to get. But for right now, yeah, they've partnered with Rolling Stone once again to release new NFTs. I'm excited to see when I get back from vacation exactly how expensive those two NFTs are and how much they sold for, because they're a little bit rare. Yeah, that's the Bored Ape Yacht Club and Rolling Stone NFT collaboration news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, the United Kingdom Treasury has decided to rescind or stop its requirement for crypto companies to compile the personal information of self-custodied wallet users, citing privacy concerns. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, there have been a number of countries around the world who have made sure to come forward and talk about exactly how much they hate crypto. Raising my fist, I can't stand cryptocurrencies. And as such, a number of countries announced that they were going to require cryptocurrency exchanges to accumulate the data of people who were not even using them. So for instance, let's say you were decided to send your coins. It actually goes further than you think. Let's say you sent your coins to your friend Rebecca, and Rebecca sent the coins that she had to Coinbase. Coinbase would require her to actually give it, not Coinbase in general, but crypto exchanges would be required to not only have her information from exactly which wallet that came from, but also in some cases, even your name from where that money first came from. If there was another situation where, let's say, Rebecca's mother was sending money to her Coinbase account, they would also then need the name of Rebecca's mother before they allowed that money to even enter into the cryptocurrency exchange. You see where this becomes a problem because it's absolute nonsense, especially when we have a system now, the current cryptocurrency market, where we can move money around freely and at will. There's no need to actually take someone's name or their information or their blood type to accept their money. It simply is sent to them or sent from them to you, and you receive that money. Having to get the actual information from people who decide to hold their own crypto in their own wallets at every movement, and should it at some point hit a crypto exchange, why did anyone think that that was a good idea? The United Kingdom's government won't be requiring crypto businesses to collect personal data for all transfers to non-custodial wallets. Oh yes, also as well, if it's going off the exchange as well, they also want to know the name of the person before you can send it. Can you imagine? You're trying to take money off or send it to a friend, and you need their personal information for the government to collect before you can do that. In its June report, the Treasury acknowledged that many persons who hold crypto assets for legitimate purposes use unhosted wallets, and that there is no good evidence that has shown that such wallets being used are disproportionately for criminal activity. We had news in 2018 because a lot of people, billionaires who are now in the market, decided to announce that crypto was only for illicit activities. And luckily / unluckily, a number of companies began to pop up like Chainalysis and all these other ones who analyze the chains. And they were actually looking into these ideas that governments had that all of crypto was being used for illicit purposes. And they found out that less than 0.5% are used for things that they may even then potentially consider to be illegal. So not even that they were used for something bad, is that it could be perceived that because the government didn't know something about a certain transaction, that could have then be seen as something that was illegal. So the idea of every transaction being used for something illegal fell down to 0.5%, and they said maybe even less than that. In many cases, it was simply they didn't know where these coins were going. Or years ago, the idea of dirty Bitcoin, which is still a thing, air quotes, was also very popular. Let's say a Bitcoin gets mined in Alaska. Sure, why not? At some point, the company decides they want to sell off some of their Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ends up going to Rebecca. It goes to Rebecca's mom. Rebecca's mom buys a shirt for it. I don't know, whatever, something outside. She spends her Bitcoin. And that money that vendor got, they end up doing something on a website where they can buy things that aren't necessarily, you know what I'm saying. Those coins that vendor then received, they used to pay for a panini. Another company ends up using those coins to sell it to someone else. Someone else ends up getting it. It goes into a Bitcoin ATM. And at some point, you put a 20 inside of the Bitcoin ATM and you receive those Bitcoin. Because of these analytics firms, they don't really know. There's no face to all the people who are moving this money around. So they don't know about Rebecca, James, Mark, Tom, all these different people who were using the coin. They simply saw that at one point it hit that website. Because of all of these transactions, the Bitcoin is now considered dirty. And in many cases, it still happens. A lot of crypto exchanges won't even allow you to deposit it onto their website. Or if it does go onto their website, they won't allow you to take it off because it's done something illicit at some point. And they'll ask you tons of questions. Can you prove that this is your coin? Can you prove when you purchased it? And it's complete nonsense because no one does that for the dollar. No one does that for the yen. No one does that for the euro. At some point, the money in your wallet, if you still use paper money, was more than likely, if your paper money has a date on it that says 1992, I bet you at least 30 times in that piece of paper's life it was used for something illegal. But no one stops you when you go into a store and goes, sir, when did you get this money? When was it's just such an irrational level of fear that people keep throwing at us in this cryptocurrency space that, we must be doing something illegal. There seems to be no other actual answer as to why people would be using cryptocurrencies, not realizing the whole freaking financial system is completely collapsing because of these idiots. Anyway, the news is, yes, they've scrapped those plans. I wonder why. Like, no, really, honestly, like, I wonder who spoke to them. I wonder who told them, you shouldn't be doing this. Why would you think that that's a good idea? At what point did you think that people in the public would go, I don't mind having all of my data taken by the government? That doesn't seem like a bad idea, because all these cryptocurrency exchanges have to register with government bodies. And any information that the cryptocurrency exchange has, the government also has. All of it. That's the UK made a smart move news. Why? And other countries have begun to implement this as well. I'm like, are you trying to lose money? Do you want people to just simply not do business within your borders? I don't get it. Like, who thought? It must have been someone who was like 195 years old who thought this was a good idea, because otherwise it simply does not make any sense. That's the UK. Finally made a good move. News. Alrighty. Let's move on. Now here's my this was my favorite news of the entire month. It says, with Bitcoin slumping hard in the past few weeks, the popular stock-to-flow model has become a main topic of discussion. Ethereum's co-founder used the recent market crash as an opportunity to lash out against the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model, which has deviated severely from its price predictions. The stock-to-flow creator responded quickly and didn't hold back. For those of you who have no idea what the stock-to-flow model is, it's basically, I think it even says this. Yeah, I'll read this right here. It says, developed and published a few years ago by a popular crypto analyst going by the Twitter handle Plan B or Plan Bitcoin. The stock-to-flow model and its variations predict Bitcoin's future price based on the size of existing reserves, how much Bitcoin there is, and the annual supply of Bitcoin on the market, which would be the flow, therefore the stock-to-flow model. The idea is he calculates how much Bitcoin there is, how much fewer Bitcoin will be mined every single 4 years, the amount of people on the network, the amount, all the metrics kind of fit together. And this guy made a chart a couple of years ago. It became very popular around the end of 2017 when people were like, oh, snaps, this guy made a stock-to-flow chart a while ago, and he's been accurate the entire time. Part of the problem runs in when you look at the year 2020. His model predicted that we'd be at a certain Bitcoin price, I think by the end of 2020 or the end of 2021, which was basically the idea of a $100,000 plus Bitcoin. This is why we heard so many analysts talking about it, because it made a lot of sense. We got to $70,000. First of all, this chart was correct about 9 years in a row. We got to a $70,000 Bitcoin, and it seemed all but believable that we would get to this point. But don't forget for a second, because a lot of people are already forgetting, how insane the last 2 years were. We are currently in a position right now where the stock market looks insane. The cryptocurrency market has more volatility than ever because world markets continue to have relief rallies and then completely collapse over and over. Inflation is ravaging the entirety of the planet. The US dollar, the world reserve currency, has a 9% inflation amount, when it should normally be 1 to 2%. Other countries around the world, their currencies have already collapsed. Their economies are not doing well. We're getting information from banks and institutions that either by the end of this year or the beginning of next year, we are going to be in one of the craziest recessions that we have ever seen. To me, it makes logical sense that if this chart was correct for 9 years, on the basis of how the economy and the world was before, because the world is pretty messed up right now over the last 2.5 years, that of course, during all this chaos and turmoil, it would make sense that his stock to flow model may be a bit off, because I'm pretty sure he did not calculate what happened at the beginning of 2020, which is still going around for those of you who don't know that, and also the situation with Russia. Has everyone forgotten that as well? Remember, that was the main reason why the stock market began to fall. Everyone still with me? Just making sure. Because a lot of people, first of all, I don't know the guy. He's also pseudonymous. No one knows who he is, where he lives, all these other things. But it's like how quickly people turn on each other or someone who they've never met who made them money years ago. This guy had a chart. Remember, we even knew that other banks were using his chart as an actual method to see where Bitcoin was going to go. Banks were using his charts because it made a lot more sense than their chart and it was more accurate. The moment the world collapses, it's suddenly this guy's fault? No. It attracted countless supporters as it predicted massive price tags for Bitcoin, many of which came true. However, the model started getting it wrong at the end of last year, as it forecasted a 100,000 Bitcoin by December, which didn't happen. Keeping in mind the world collapsing. This man made a chart about where prices could go, and they kept on going there while the world was collapsing. Moreover, it sees Bitcoin trading in a large range between 50,000 and 150,000 for 2022, following the recent market slumps in which the asset recorded an 18-month low below $20,000. It's safe to say that the model has gone way outside of its bullish predictions because the world is collapsing. I don't know how many times I could actually stress that. Stock to flow has seen a fair share of its critics, and one of the most prominent being Vitalik Buterin. Here's why it gets interesting. Earlier the other day, he supported one of Ethereum's core developers who blasted the model, calling it an epic failure. Although Buterin was more diplomatic with his choice of words, he also discredited the model while the world is collapsing around us. Can you imagine if this man's model, if the situation with Russia and inflation wasn't a major problem, or the stock market wasn't collapsing, where Bitcoin's price would actually be? I assume that they would have shut up and not even had this conversation. Right? No one else? Okay. Buterin said stock to flow is really not looking good now. I know it's impolite to gloat and all that, but I think financial models that give people a false sense of certainty and predestination, that number will go up, are harmful and deserve all the mockery they get. And there's someone else talking about it right there. It didn't take long for the creator of the model to get involved in the conversation, saying that leaders, Buterin, also tend to blame others, Plan B, and play the victim during and after a market crash. Plan B said after a crash, some people are looking for scapegoats for their failed projects or wrong investment decisions. Not only newbies, but also leaders fall victim to blaming others and playing the victim. Remember, those who blame others are those who stand strong after a crash. This is the worst example in my entire life that I've ever seen. What is it? The pot calling the kettle black? I think that's the phrase for it. It's been 6 years. We still do not have Ethereum 2.0. Ethereum was actually running out of money. Yeah, for those of you who don't know this, I'm going to give you all the information. Ethereum was launched around 2016. I think they were getting funding in 2015. Nobody was using their coin. Nobody. Like it wasn't a thing. This was before the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. It was before all these things. No one was actually using Ethereum. Around the end of 2016, maybe the beginning of 2017, they told people we have no more funding. If we don't get some kind of money, this project is going to actually collapse. How people forget how easily that they weren't always coin number two. That people also called them garbage because their protocol wasn't working. That they've had so many hiccups over the years. It's not even that I'm defending Plan B. It's like, Why do you feel the need to attack people? This guy's trying his best. This guy never said it is going to go up to this exact amount. I'll show you the exact chart right here. This chart has been correct for a number of years. It has a trajectory line, but not even where prices are supposed to go. The world began collapsing right about here, and it's still held on relatively. I've noticed over the last year or so, a lot of people who created coins, a lot of people who were, and I don't want to use the word leader because Plan B used the word leader, but the higher ups in this space, they're not nice people. Like, a lot of them are just so angry and so mean, and they criticize so many other people. And it's like, your project is also garbage. You still only do 15 transactions per second. It's been 6 years and you still have not upgraded this computer. You've lied to millions of people for your project as well. We can go back and look at the Ethereum charts and all the news, because I've made videos for the last 6 years as to when these upgrades were going to happen, and none of them have happened. Even the Ice Age keeps getting put back, which is supposed to have been implemented in 2017. Very, very sad, because Vitalik was one of the very few people who I think I thought he was relatively stable when it came to these kind of things. Like, he's also now just scouring through Twitter looking for like problems as well. And Hoskinson also does the exact same thing. Hoskinson is very popular for making sure that he runs around just screaming at different projects and is like, your stuff is also delayed every single year. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people are simply in like in a box in their own mind where they're trying to figure out how to become more influential within the space, or exactly what it is. But it's like, this guy never promised anything. He made a chart and showed where prices could possibly go. The rainbow one being like where prices like actually moved, but this little blue line is where they were supposed to basically go. So insane. Anyway, but I think one last thought. I'm figuring out how to phrase it in my head. Through the years, nearly all creators or leaders of a cryptocurrency project or a crypto exchange, at some point, it seems as if they've snapped in some sort of way. And I'm not going to name any crypto exchanges, but the larger ones, if you listen to what their CEOs also say, it's also a little bit off their rocker. And a lot of these projects, why take the time out of your day to be negative to anyone? You've been talking about this upgrade for years. Do it. Stop gloating or talking about that Bitcoin's price didn't go where this man said it was going to go on a podcast. That's the Plan B versus, I guess, Vitalik Buterin news. So sad. So I thought he was one of the very last people, because the guy who created Satoshi's Vision, also out there. The guy who created Bcash, also, you know, all these. Maybe it's the pressure. At some point, I think these people just kind of fall apart mentally. I'm not really sure what it is, but yeah. Despite my rambling, I do hope that you enjoyed in some sort of way. I can't be the only one who feels like that this is like, it's so bad, like this level of distrust and this like talking down to people within the space. Like, what did you get from saying something negative to that man who you've never met? Did he feel better that day? Did he sleep better afterwards? Why make sure that you only sow negativity into the space? Just ignore it. If his numbers were incorrect, ignore it, because how many people have come out in support of Ethereum over the last couple of years? Once again, we still did not get that $10,000 Ethereum last year, like all the Ethereum supporters were screaming at the top of their lungs. What about those, Vitalik? Like, what's the issue? It's so strange. It's so odd that people do things like this. I think we'd be in a much better market if everyone just kind of helped everyone else. or if people made price predictions, or if people went their own way in the market and had their little niche talking about where things could go, leave them alone. I remember years ago, we were talking about, this was XRP in like 2017. I think I mentioned, I was like, I could see it going to $1, and people hounded me until the price went to $1 and were like, yo, he told the truth. I can't believe it. And I was like, I didn't predict the price. I'm talking about where I could logically see it going. And the people were like, where do you think it can go? And I said, $5 doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, as every single coin is pumping. And then that whole XRP bear, whatever that weird thing was that people were writing online, talking about $569 or something like that. And when I didn't agree with that number, people also got upset with me. And then when XRP went to $3.60 and didn't hit $5, people in January were like, I'm going to stop watching TMI because he had no idea what he's talking about. I'm like, I talk about the news every day. At no point have I said the price is going to definitely hit this for this coin. Go outside. Like, I'm serious. I'm so serious. Like, go get some air. Go hiking. You must live in a place where an hour away from you can drive to go breathe mountain air. I don't get it. Like, everyone gets so angry. And I know that it has to do with the anger of everyone. Everybody wants the market to go up. Every single one of us. But when the market goes down, some people can't mentally handle it. And this is what I keep telling people. If you can't handle the market, get out of it. It's the same thing. Like, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, leave the kitchen. This market is crazy. This market will probably continue to collapse if we keep seeing the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. If you have a problem, you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. That is not something that simply should be said because it sounds nice. If you have a problem losing $10,000, leave this market. I lost a huge amount of money since prices have fallen. You don't see me going, well, I don't understand why this is happening. Why isn't this so much? No. If this market is too stressful for you, leave it. If you are putting too much money in the market and you are getting anxious because you're about to lose your rent money, you should not be using your rent money to get into the cryptocurrency space. I know people I said, listen, if you want to get into the market, put maybe $100 every month. And I mean a $100 period. That no more. Maximum. After you've paid everything. All these people dumping like huge thousands and thousands into the market because they heard from some other YouTuber that prices are going to go up. And then the price ends up falling. And these people, I had a very good friend. I thought we were cool. I told him, dude, don't throw tons of money into the market because you have no idea what the market is like. What do you think he did? He cashed out of some of his stocks. I think he was taking a huge portion of his paycheck and he was taking something else. And then the market collapsed and he was like, every single time I saw this person for a month, any dinner, any event, any cafe, wherever our friends were, he kept on making a joke. I lost about 16,000 because of this guy over here. And I stopped him one time. For those of you who don't know, I don't care who you are. I don't know if you know this phrase. I'm not a punk. I will tell you right to your face, right? I don't care who you are. If you walk, I will tell you right to your face. I told him, I was like, yo, dude, stop it. I told you not to put that much money into the market. He's like, I know, threw his hands up. And I was like, no, you clearly did not know because you needed that money more than you were saying or you were letting on to everybody else. Don't put money into this market if you cannot afford to lose it. I put a lot of money into this market. Listen, my friend who I'm always talking about is my best friend. I talk to him all the time. I tell him, like, listen, if it goes to zero, cool. I'd be upset for like a good day and a half, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't understand why the prices are doing this and why so and going on Twitter and ranting to all these different people. This was my choice, my decision, my money. I put my money where I want to invest it. If I lose it, well, I put it into the wrong investment. You need to have a really strong conversation with yourself as to if you want to continue being in this market. Because I saw tons of people before attacking Plan B. This was even weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago when the prices were falling. That's why I made sure in those videos, you might remember, where I made sure to mention, I was like, listen, the stock market is collapsing. We are correlated to traditional markets. If they fall, we fall. That's why I keep bringing you stock news on so many different videos, because I'm showing you the stock market went up today, cryptocurrency went up today. The stock market went up again, crypto went up again. The stock market fell, it's doing really bad, and that's when we dropped by 15%. So that you understand, it's not some old man talking on Twitter, talking about where Bitcoin's price could go. He did not cause Bitcoin's price to drop. It is global events that are taking place. But people, once again, always end up looking for a scapegoat or somebody to be like, well, he told me to put my money. No, that's you. You put your money into this market. Never, ever forget that. You, yourself, stop blaming other people. That is definitely going to do it for this video. I hope you all have a great day. See you next time. See ya.